What's good, everybody? Today I'm going to go over the Darius the Destroyer versus Kody Hrastnik fight. It's early in the morning right now, so bear with me. I'm definitely live for a misspeak or two. So we're just going to have to get through that, hopefully with no issues, but fair warning. And yeah, so this wasn't a great fight. It definitely wasn't a great fight, but we've definitely seen worse at the same time. To start, I want to make sure that it's clear that I've never been a fan of both guys. But I'm also a professional, so I'm able to put that aside because each guy did at least one thing well in this fight. So I'm gonna do my best to call it down the middle. So yeah, let's start with Darius. So I'm sure basically everybody that's listening to this video knows Darius. I mean, you guys are all, from what I can see, you guys are all educated fans. So love you for that. But yeah, for those who don't know, Darius the Destroyer was the original coach along Wolverine in Road to the Title Season 1. So like from Power Slap's inception, he was considered basically the gold standard of slapping. I mean, he was the slap fight heavyweight champion. And yeah, he was the cream of the crop as far as slap fighting goes at one point. So it was a little goofy to see him on the show, if I'm being honest. He's ranked 8th right now, 8th in the heavyweight division. And I mean, he started at number 1. So for Kody, I don't know if people know, but Kody actually fought in the original Power Slap exhibition and he got knocked out viciously, man. Viciously. It was a bad one, dude. And so prior to the show, that was the only time we had ever seen him, although he was on the roster for some reason. I'm not really sure why. And then in the first round against James Stonier, again, he got DQ'd for 2 striker fouls in the second round too. So no clean blows landed by him. 2 horrible striker fouls by him. Clubbed the living fuck out of Stonier twice. So funny story. So this dude actually found my breakdown of his fight and then commented. And look, I didn't talk highly of him. I actually was pretty critical of him, which I stand by. He deserved that, man. That was a horrible fight, the first fight. So I don't blame him for getting salty and like commenting, and you know, he was chirping back at me, man. So look, I know what I signed up for. I have to talk about these people, and sometimes not good. But you know, I have to call it down the middle. I mean, at the end of the day, this page is for the Power Slap fans, not for the fighters. So yeah, I don't blame him for getting upset. But if you're going to, you know, slide into the comments and chirp, make sure it's at least a halfway decent performance, because that one just wasn't it. So yeah, it wasn't the best look by him. So I'm sure he'll see this one, but this was a better fight. But anyway, with that said, Darius won the toss and he was slapping first, and it wasn't a good slap, man. It was clean, but it was basically all finger, and it had no effect on Kody at all. So one thing that Kody did well in this fight was he actually did a good job of playing the slaps off. So on this one in particular, he just laughed and tossed the foam at him. And like, it's not all about screaming. Like, this works great in some instances. If it's quiet in there, like it is on the show, this can work just as well as screaming. If you were at like a live numbered card where there's fans screaming and stuff, then you need to raise your voice. But on this one, it was perfect. He just laughed and tossed the foam at him. So good stuff by Kody. Say what you want about him, and again, I'm not the hugest fan of him, but he has a decent stage presence. But anyway, yeah, Kody was able to eat it. And so Darius, like, he's always had a hard time adapting to the Power Slap rules as opposed to Slap Fight, where he came over as the champion. Slap Fight is so much more strict on the rules. Like, they're just by the book. They will call you if it is close. And so Darius tends to miss a little bit short because I think that it's just so ingrained in him not to foul, which is good. But at the end of the day, man, you have to adapt. This is power slap. They're much more lenient. They want their knockouts, and as you can see on the show, they're gonna let stuff go if it's close. So yeah, it was too clean, basically all finger, and yeah, it didn't affect Kody at all. And then on Kody's first slap, this wasn't a great slap, man. It was definitely clean, but he was also a little out of range. Darius was able to eat it, and Darius, say what you want about him too, but his chin is certified, dude. He's also kind of known for the roll, rolling with a slap to help him take the slap. And some people, you have to be careful with that because you can get flinchy at times. But I mean, no one rolls better than Darius. He didn't do it as much in this fight. It didn't appear that he was rolling nearly as much. But he has more of like a rod style where like he's able to let the slap hit his face. Most people who roll with it aren't even able to let the slap hit their face. Like, I don't know if it's subconsciously or what, they turn first. But if you're going to roll, it's really good to let it hit your face and then whip your like head under control to the side to take some of the power off. And again, no one does it better than Darius. So yeah, Darius was able to eat it. I had the first round going to Kody. I thought he played it off better, and I thought that the slaps were very similar. So yeah, again, how you play off the slap is just as much criteria as damage. So yeah, I will say though, I really don't like Kody's slap, man. He keeps his arm straight up on the windup, which is fine, I guess, if you're gonna throw it like a hook, but he doesn't throw it like a hook. He winds up, and then on the third windup, he keeps his arm vertical and then tries to like whip it like a hinge almost. Like, I wonder, yeah, I'm not really sure the mechanics on that or who told him to do that. I personally don't like that slap. I think that you lose all your momentum when you do the 1-2. That's the whole point, is like to get placement and then really set up to explode. And so if you're going to explode on your third slap and then stop like halfway to bend your arm and then try and whip it, you're basically losing all that force that you had generated. So yeah, again, I just really don't like the mechanics on Kody's slap, but just my opinion. And then on Darius' second slap, it wasn't a great slap, but it was definitely better than the first. Was still just a little bit out of range. I mean, even Frank said that like he was basically all fingers. This one wasn't as bad as the first one, as far as like being a little bit short, but yeah, he was a little bit short on this one too. You're really not going to knock someone out like that, man, unless you're like a Vern Cathy who can, just absolutely crack like no one we've ever seen. You're really not going to knock somebody out without using the whole point of your hand. I mean, you have basically the whole hand to use besides like the very bottom where it turns in like your wrist bones. So you really want to be using that on every slap. And yeah, he just wasn't on the first couple, and it showed. I mean, Kody was able to eat it. And then on Kody's second slap, this wasn't a good slap either. It was high. I'm sure there's people out there that are like, yo, that was a club. Why didn't you call it? Darius even complained. I was impressed with Darius because he was able to back off after he complained. I mean, like if someone's missing and clubbing you and you want to get it called, like it's fine to plant the seed with the ref. And so if he had kept going and been complaining, like even all the way through his recovery time, then I would have had a problem with it. But it was just a nice quick, yo, like pointing to his head, like trying to induce the club. And so, yeah, I don't really blame him for that, for planting the seed. As far as the slap goes, look, dude, it was definitely high. It was definitely high. But I think that it was a little bit short. Again, both of these guys were just out of range. So I think it was actually a little bit short to be a club because he was like so short that although it was high, it really didn't even like, it just kind of like scraped. And so I think that that's more of what Darius was feeling on the top of his head. I think that he thought that he landed straight up like on the top of his eye, whereas like he really landed like more on the top of the cheek and just got like the scrape of the fingers from coming up short. So I'm fine with a no call on this club, man. as long as you're consistent. Like if Darius came back and did something similar on the third slap and they called it, like I would have had a problem with it, but that didn't happen. So, you know, I'm okay with the no club there. I'm sure some people aren't, but yeah, I didn't mind it. So I gave the second round to Darius. I thought that he landed the better slap. Again, Kody's was high. Arguably could have been a club. So, you know, if you're not going to call it, like you have to reward the clean blow there, because Darius was definitely clean. And then on Darius's third slap, so this was a good slap. This was the best slap of the match by either guy. Perfect placement, man. Right on the button. I always say that, like, you know how like people say that football is a game of inches? Well, power slap's a game of centimeters, my man. A game of centimeters, my man. A centimeter shorter or deeper can make the difference between you putting somebody's lights out and hitting the off button or not. I think that if he had landed like just a tiny bit deeper, maybe like a centimeter, like not enough to be a club, but just a tiny bit more, I think that he could have really rocked him. He definitely did affect Kody. I'm not going to say that Kody was rocked, but you could see that he was wearing it. Kody was not able to play this one off. He was definitely hurt there, stumbled. He came to pretty quick, but it was too late at that point. He had already shown the damage by taking like a stumble back and like not being able to play it off instantly. So although he was able to come back pretty quickly, I just don't think it was enough. And then on Kody's third slap, it was okay, but I mean Darius just ate the fuck out of it, man, and he played it off perfect. He was just like easy and then walked away. Like it's textbook. But yeah, I think it was a clear third round win for Darius and a clean 2-1 decision for Darius. Really no debate about it, in my opinion. One of the easier fights to judge. For Darius, man, I mean, dude, he needed this. He needed this, man. Again, it was horrible optics going from the coach on season 1 to fighting for your job on season 3. I thought that he handled it about as well as you possibly could. And you want to talk about getting up there with... That was... Honestly, that might have been the biggest win of his career, besides maybe like the 27 rounder that he went with Wolverine that probably got Dana's attention. I think this was like the next biggest win for him. At 0-4 in Power Slap and losing on the reality show, like I just find it hard to believe that he wouldn't have gotten cut there. So you want to talk about just, you know, buckling down and showing up. I mean, it was a solid win for him, man, and he needed it. For Kody, he showed a decent chin. His striking was clean this time, which is good. But, I mean, that puts him at 0-3 now. So, I mean, I'd be pretty surprised if we see him again. If we do see him again, it'll probably be on, like, a reality show or something, like, ridiculously short notice. I mean, again, he wasn't like the happiest with my breakdown of the last fight. And again, I understand it, but at the end of the day, man, like, was I right? I mean, he's 0-3 now. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah. All right. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, hit that subscribe button. I'm really trying to get the subscribers up. The like button, if you want to hit it. If not, it's cool. I'm more worried about the subscribe button. So if you listen to my stuff consistently, do me a favor and hit it. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.